It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Gino Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Gino Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. I am here. Yes, I am here. It is time for the Gino Jones Show. You know what time it is. We come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30-ish. Okay, it's a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes after, so 6:30. Okay, it could be 6:31, 6:32, 6:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles. Tell everybody you know to subscribe to the Gino Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, screen grab, rip some of the video, like, binge, watch all my back episodes, and please leave your comments in the comment section. The Gino Jones Show brought to you by City Vibes Bar and Lounge. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, which is a whole nother story. We're going to talk about that. And TikTok, City Vibes, 9730 Dorchester Road. And big shout out to one of our sponsors. It is the Crate Group, one of the top incredible nonprofit organizations in America. Shout out to their CEO, my dear brother by another mother, Mr. Kendrick Bannister. We know and we love him, Brother Al Kendrick Bannister, ladies and gentlemen. Want to thank all of my sponsors for sponsoring the show. And thank you for watching. My guest today is the young, just a talented, brilliant, beautiful sister. She is running for the vacant South Carolina State Representative House seat in District 113. I thought I was in her district, but I guess I'm not. And I don't have time to buy a house in her district, but a lot of people just watching, they live in her district. Her name is Michelle Branch. She is brilliant. She is going to be my guest because early voting for this vacant state house representative seat started on Monday. Yes, right, Monday. It's like I got something in my eye there, so excuse me. So we were just talking about, well, you heard me mention Facebook. So I'm going to get to that in a second. First of all, I want to talk about McDonald's. So I see today where McDonald's says it is ending some of its DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. They're changing the name of their diversity team to the Global Inclusion Team. Now, Walmart has made a similar announcement. They're getting rid of their diversity programs. Shout out to Costco. They're doubling down. They're standing 10 toes down and saying we are absolutely, not only are we not going to get rid of our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, they have only made our company better. So you know what that means? That means in the end of May, when my Sam's Club membership expires, guess whose membership I won't be renewing, and guess whose membership that I will be renewing. And I've been meaning to do this for a while. We're all we got, but we are all we need. But we have to make sure that we, as a culture and community, support those that support us. As my grandfather, Conway Jones, the wisest man I've ever known to this day, used to say, Jeannie, put valuation. Now, I don't know if that was in Webster's. I don't even know if it's in Webster's now, or even the Black Dictionary. But he said, Jeannie, put valuation on people that value you. Yes, value people that value you. So shout out to companies like Costco. Okay, now the funny, McDonald's. Did you all think about this? Do you know how many black folks eat McDonald's? Even when their doctor tells them they shouldn't be eating it, do you know how many, like the French fries and the Big Mac? Really, is that good for business? I don't think a lot of these companies have thought about that. Now, I'm really gonna get into it like knee deep, to quote Parliament Funkadelic. I'm gonna get knee deep into this conversation tomorrow. Also, I'm gonna get knee deep talking about the story because it really pisses me off, and I got a guest. So I don't want to catch strays from my heat today. But you may have heard a story about a nurse and an alleged, because my mother is a retired nurse. So this is really personal for me. The story about this nurse who allegedly broke bones. She was breaking the bones of black babies in the neonatal intensive care unit, the NICU, call it the NICU. That's where all the premature babies, the babies who are like the most fragile, that are barely clinging on to life, dealing with all kind of conditions, being born premature, maybe having issues with their heart or some organ in their body. What even an animal wouldn't do something like to a baby, the sickest of sick babies. And the oath that you take as a nurse is to do anything but harm any of your patients. So I'm really gonna get it. I'm taking a real knee-deep dive into that conversation, because it's just on so many levels it's disturbing. And growing up with a nurse who's worked everything from hospitals, my mom's probably worked in some NICU units. I'm sure she has. I'm almost certain she has. I remember hearing her talk about it, to in-home health care. Just nurses are really special people. And nurses, they don't do things like this. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Now, before I bring Michelle on, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, Mr. CEO Facebook, Mr. MAGA, announced today that Facebook, now get ready for this, everybody. Facebook says it is no longer going to fact check people. So that means that you can just come on Facebook and lie. Or I should say, you can continue to come on Facebook and lie and spread lies and rumors. Because that's been going on for a while with this election misinformation. But Mark Zuckerberg said it with his full chest stuck out that we are going to get rid of, no longer have fact checkers. And our content moderators, we're going to move from California to Texas. And that we here at Meta and Facebook are going to do everything we can to support Donald Trump, President Trump, AKA Felon 47, against foreign countries that are attacking, going after U.S. companies. So, Mark, are you going to start with Russia? You're talking about attacking U.S. companies. How about U.S. and U.S. citizens and our country and our democracy? I'm going to get into his tale tomorrow also. So let me bring on my guest. Once again, she is running for the vacant South Carolina State Representative House seat for District 113, which primarily makes up North Charleston and I believe some other parts. Anyway, I'm not going to waste my time babbling about her district. She is on camera right now. Beautiful, brilliant, billion-dollar smile. I've had a chance to meet this talented woman some time ago. So she's been on the show before, so you probably recognize this beautiful face. And I told her before that she knows that she has a permanent home on the Gino Jones Show and on my media platform. Well, she is back, and we have to get her in that South Carolina State Representative House seat for District 113. Even if you don't live in District 113, call somebody that you know, or volunteer, or knock on some doors, or, send the campaign some money. Why sound like your pitch man, Michelle Brandt? Welcome back to the show.
I love it.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year. Thank you for having me back on your show.
So full disclosure, everybody, we got a chance. So this is, for my viewers know, you guys that watch the show, the Democratic National Convention, I broadcast live the last two nights, Wednesday and Thursday. So on Thursday was the day when Vice President Kamala Harris gave her big speech. So maybe a couple hours before, there's a lot of activity going. I remember it was probably somewhere between 4:30 and 5, and there was so much activity going on, like in the hallways. And so I'm broadcasting live, and I'm trying to go back to I think I just left because I did a live shot, Michelle, they let us go down on the House floor for a while. Wow. So, I'm excited. And then I don't know who recognized, I think we may have recognized each other at the same time. And I heard somebody say, Gino, I don't know if it was you or me. I said, Michelle. And so we got a chance to see each other. I was so happy and excited to see you But it was brief, and we didn't get a chance to run into each other because that day and that evening it was historic, but it was good chaos, good trouble, but it was just a lot going on. So haven't seen you. That was mid August.
Yeah, that was like 5 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome. So I want you. So if you don't mind, for those who may be new to the show or new to you, especially here in Charleston, South Carolina, or North Charleston, if you don't mind, share your origin story and let's talk about this vacant seat that you're running for in the South Carolina State House Representative for District 113.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Again, my name is Michelle Brandt, and my background's in environmental science, and I'm a mom of 3 kids. And how I got into politics was, I think, unconventional. It was in 2020 during the pandemic. There was a lot going on, and I wanted to volunteer to help the community. So I went downtown on America Street in Charleston, and I volunteered with Charleston Hope at a food distribution. And I met this man who declined the groceries I was trying to give him because he didn't own a refrigerator. And it was in that moment I was like, wow, Charleston County is such a wealthy county. This is a wealthy area. It just bothered me that people are still living without basic things like refrigerators, and he had a home. So I went home and I told my husband, and we prayed about it and we talked, and I decided, you know what, I want to run for office. And there are amazing nonprofits all over our state, especially in Charleston, South Carolina. But I was like, instead of doing a direct service, I want to do something to solve the reasons why people are living the way they are and try to improve their living conditions with policy and through policy. So I joined the Charleston Area Justice Ministry, and I started going to county council meetings for the first time in my life. They do stream their meetings on electronically, like on Zoom, so you can watch it online. But I went in person, and I was pretty amazed at what I saw. I had put politicians on a pedestal. I thought they were all like Harvard graduates, but no, at least our Charleston County, they're regular, everyday people. And that was really exciting for me because I felt like, okay, I can do this too. So I had coffee with one of the council members, and we hit it off, and she encouraged me to apply for a board of commission, and I did. And I became commissioner of Charleston County Parks. That kind of launched my political career. And then I ran for office in West Ashley when I lived there for the State House. Even though I was not successful, I learned so much, and I was really motivated to help other women learn how to do what I did, because I learned everything from scratch. And so from some encouragement from the party, I decided to run for third vice chair of the state Democratic Party. I won my first ever statewide primary. I had to travel all over South Carolina to get votes from all the delegates, but I did, and I became third vice chair. And then when I was ready to go back to the workforce, because I was a stay-at-home mom previously, I wanted to work for an organization that I felt really passionate about. So I became a community organizer for Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. And then unfortunately, or how things happened, my lease expired in West Ashley, and my rent was raised $400. And I promise you, I do not have a crystal ball, but we ended up moving to North Charleston, where it was a lot more affordable for our family. We love our home where we are now. And we got the news about the Representative Marvin Pendarvis. I had no idea that he was going through what he was going through. Yeah. And when he resigned, I was like, this is my chance to run on the same things I ran before. My platform is very similar to the one I had in West Ashley. I'm running to increase affordable housing. I'm running to make childcare more affordable and accessible. And I'm also running to reduce the gun violence in our community. And I thought I was going to have to wait 20 years for an opportunity to run for office again, but I'm taking this opportunity now, and I'm so excited to share my story with all of your viewers, Gino.
You know, God doesn't make any mistakes, Michelle. I mean, just think about how that happened, that you were literally forced to move for economic reasons for you and your growing family, your young family, and here we are now. You answered a question for me, which I'm not surprised. I told you all, this sister's brilliant. But if you don't mind, because I was going to ask you, what were your top three? What are the top three priorities that you want to attack in your first term? You have goals, but if you have a top three, and you discuss them, but if you don't mind, I would love for you to elaborate, because affordable housing is a huge problem. And what's the irony, Michelle, is the population has grown so much here in just the Charleston metro, the city of Charleston, North Charleston, and Charleston County, Berkeley, Dorchester County. And like you said, there's so much wealth in this area, but there's still so many people who are just regular, working class people of all backgrounds.
Yep.
And that's I really, and I talked about it, and I'm not going to take the deep dive because I want you to speak on your policy positions, but it's just a handful of people that's empowered that they have used bigotry and hate and racism and fear of the other and misogyny and sexism and transphobia, all these fears to pit people against each other, to where you've got people that will vote against their best interests financially, their best interests in terms of their health and the outcomes, things that could happen to their insurance, be it Obamacare or Medicaid or Social Security. And I've been talking about this really for 4 years, that if people realize that this whole made up construct, which is made up of race, it was made up in Europe to divide people, for just a small handful of people to maintain social, economic, and political power. If we could just cut through that and get people to stop voting against their own interests. So I digress, but I guess I'm just tying it in because I heard you mention some of the things that you were passionate about, and some of the policy positions that you really want to address. And I know you talked about affordable housing, apartments, homes. You talked about gun violence, and you were talking about health. So I just wanted to give you some more time to really take a deep dive and explain, from the heart, why these things mean so much to you to want to help other people.
Well, a lot of people that live in District 113, they are from the ages of about 30 to 39. So we're talking like millennials. I'm a millennial, and 59% of the district are renters, my family included. So it has been tough to get ahead, especially when you're paying for childcare, and that's expensive, and student loans and rent. People that are making decent money are just barely getting by. We have dreams of owning a home one day, but it's so hard to save up for that down payment. But my story is very similar to a lot of other families in the district. So one idea that I had to address this issue would be creating a renter's tax credit to kind of help families that are renting like us, so we can make little inroads to get ahead. And then I also want to acknowledge that on the south end of the district, there's a food desert. And when I asked the city about how we can eliminate that and get a good grocery store to come in, they were like, well, you have to raise the median household income. The only way you can do that is by building more affordable housing and building housing at different price points, so we can eventually raise the median income. So I want to also work on programs with developers to incentivize them to build more affordable housing. And we can get creative about how we do that. We can maybe like make a certain percentage that are dedicated for maybe certain occupations like teachers or police officers, or maybe we can set aside it based on your medium income that you bring in. We can get creative there, but I definitely want some programming around making intentional affordable housing. And when I say affordable, I'm not talking about like, like a Section 8 housing. I'm talking about housing for working families, like for everyday people who work in different job sectors, especially our teachers. So, because they don't make enough to like really thrive here in our area. And so the other idea I had to address of the lack of affordable housing is attacking it from the other side and making sure that our children, they're our future, making sure that they're taking the right classes and programs like trade schools, or teaching them entrepreneurship skills so that they can be able to afford to live here once they grow up. And so we can keep them here, but we have to make some sort of compromises for affordable housing. So another idea I had was to, like, let's say if someone goes to a state school, then we can make a program where they can get housing, maybe like student loans waived if they stay here for 5 years after they graduate. Just getting creative, thinking outside the box. I know in Maryland, they have a program that's similar to that, but just making it easier for young people, because they're the future, to stay here and thrive here. Because I've heard from even older families that their children can't afford to stay in Charleston because it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
The other issue I'm really passionate about is childcare. Childcare, it is a struggle. I have 3 children. I have a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 6-month-old. And it's hard. It's hard trying to find a good child care provider, but then also being able to afford them. And I've heard from childcare workers, they don't make enough to get by. So we need to get creative about how we can help get them in, get the training they need, but also incentivize them to stay in those positions. Like they're essential workers and they deserve to be treated like the early childhood specialists that they are. And also expanding the current child care scholarship program that we have in South Carolina. Right now, it really supports the people that living closer to the poverty line, which is great, but we need to expand it because
Yeah.
so many other families, like working class families, they can't still afford childcare. And then I had this idea of expanding our early child care programs in our schools to extend it to toddlers and infants. We've got to just think outside of the box to address some of these economic problems because childcare is not a woman's issue. It's an everyone issue. It affects the economy. We'd have so many people being able to work if they had reliable and safe childcare that's affordable. And then the other issue is gun violence. So I actually hosted a community forum on gun violence. I had community leaders from different organizations come and we talked about how we could address the problems. And the reason why I had a community forum is because so often decisions from the state house are coming from the top down. But I believe that we need to be grounded in what the people who are on the ground working on these problems day in and day out, we need to listen to them and bring their solutions and ideas up to the top. Because that's how we build trust with the community. And then they have great ideas. I was taking notes furiously through the whole thing. But one thing I think I will be able to pass, because let's not get it twisted, there is a Republican supermajority in the state house. So one thing I think I'll be able to pass is a child prevention and firearm storage law to make it so that you need to lock up your firearms. We're not saying you can't have them, and it's great if you have one. That's fine. That is your right. But you need to lock it up because a lot of times, and I was talking to the police because I'm a graduate of the North Charleston Citizens Police Academy. They were telling me that a lot of time kids get access to firearms because they're left in the car and an unlocked car. And I think that just having this law change would help a lot. But also doing common sense gun reform like background checks and having some sort of permitting. I know that this is a constitutional carry state, but we've got to be practical about how to keep people safe. And also closing the Charleston loophole is going to be really critical as well. And I think that just about covers it. Oh, there was one more thing. I was talking to a few people that lead nonprofits in North Charleston specifically, and they were telling me that young kids are actually recruited into gangs in elementary and middle school.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. So I had this idea of like investing in after school programming that's free for families because so many families are working 2, 3 jobs. They have latchkey kids. So let's not create some programming with some state funding. So the state has some stake in this to help our kids get off the streets and keep them occupied and engaged in learning in a safe environment. So we can minimize some of that juvenile crime because unfortunately 90% or not 90%, but excuse me, I'm confusing my facts, but the number one killer of children in America is with gun
Yes,
violence. And
absolutely.
so we've got to do something about it. And I know,
And
this,
Michelle, let me just say this, just to piggyback on what you're saying right there, but hold your thought is that because I've heard politicians primarily, but even folks who are not necessarily in politics, you always hear, or business leaders, or children are our number one priority. And I say, bullshit. They're not. This country does not behave. It doesn't. And you know who knows that they are not, children are not our number one priority? Children and teenagers know it. They know
yeah,
it because it just from we could just talk about education and just schools not having just the basic resources that they need and folks focus on things like banning books as opposed to being focused on make sure that kids can read any book and
mhm,
giving them teaching them the skills, having programs in schools to get them ready for the jobs of the future like tech and AI. It's just the
yeah,
focus is on the wrong thing. So the hypocrisy of this, well, kids are our number one. No, no. They, my child, any child is a priority of mine. Children are a priority for you. But unfortunately, in this country, that's just, it's lip service. It's just hot
yeah.
air and BS. And our children and teenagers, they see it.
Mhm. I know the governor, he vetoed a bill that would, provide school lunches over the summer. Uh,
Yes.
We
And
need
I
to feed our
talked about
kids.
that. You can't just from a humanity standpoint,
Mhm.
just make it make sense. I'm not asking you to make it make sense, but and children see that, Michelle.
Mhm.
Can you imagine a child who the only lunch and breakfast they got was the breakfast and lunch they would get when they were in school? Now, how do you explain to that child, yes, you are a priority, but you're not enough of a priority for your own government, state government, and governor to be willing to provide money that wouldn't cost state taxpayers a dime,
Mhm.
federal dollars, just to make sure you can eat.
Yes. You can
Kids
tell
Kids see this.
you can tell what are the priorities of the state by what we invest in and where the money is going. And I encourage people to stay woke, stay aware, pay attention to what's going on, and ask questions. I don't come here thinking I know everything. I know when I get elected, I have a lot to learn, but I know how to ask the right questions, and I already know who to go to for the answers. I already have mentors in the state house already lined up. I have connections even across the aisle with some of the representatives because it's going to take Democrats working with the
Yeah.
Republicans to get things done. And if y'all don't like that, please help me get more Democrats elected. As much as I am excited to win this seat, I won't be able to do that much unless we can get other Democrats to the state house because there is a Republican supermajority. So they're really running the show. So I just want to say that to encourage you all to fire you up to stay involved and help some candidates that you really believe in, like me.
And Michelle, those policies that you talked about, gun violence, uh, the death of children, the number one killer of children in America, which is, if anything, is abysmal. And if there's any one stat that shows that children are not a priority at all in this country, it's beyond shameful that we would live in a country with all this wealth and power that we would allow the number one killer of children to be gun violence, gun death, and to let any child be hungry. And uh, child hunger and gun deaths is not partisan.
Right.
Democratic children, Republican children, independent children, uh, this agnostic, it doesn't know any specific religion or non-religion. It
Mhm.
those conditions don't care about your ideology or political affiliation or religious affiliation or none at all. It doesn't matter. And you were talking about affordable housing and Section 8, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Michelle. And I want to go back to that because unfortunately for many years, still, even in this state, that people who want to divide us, they have stigmatized and tried to place a stigma
Mhm.
on people who utilize and are parts of Section 8 programs. Now,
Mhm.
my mother, who's watching, has been part of Section 8 programs in Chicago and Illinois for decades. My mother, who worked sick, who's had 43 major surgeries, who she had to retire earlier than she wanted from her nursing career of multiple health conditions, including lupus, that she's still living with. I have another family member who dealt with seizures, who she wasn't able to work because every time she applied for a job, because she would have seizures so bad that they felt that she would be of risk and they wouldn't hire her. So she's had to go out and come up, creative ways and find some, part of the gig economy. But the point I'm trying to make is that there are people, the majority of people on Section 8 work hard, work
Yep.
2 and 3 jobs, or have worked all their life and retired, who were nurses and maybe police officers or just people had regular 9 to 5 jobs, worked in factories, that were able to get into a program where they could get affordable housing. So if anything, that whole concept of affordable housing needs to be expanded. So don't I tell
Yes.
people, what we're not going to do, we're not going to stigmatize Section 8 because there are people who are living with housing vouchers or Section 8 that are living in some pretty posh places, buildings and homes. I know for a
Yes.
fact that people would never know about it because they don't talk about it. But you never know a person's story. You don't know what they're
Yes.
dealing with. You don't know what they have dealt with. So instead of stigmatizing people who are a part of the Section 8 program, expand affordable housing because like you said, I've got a daughter, millennial. You're a millennial. My oldest daughter is a millennial. Uh, the baby girl who's in the other room, you may even be able to hear the water. Uh, 23, she just turned 23, just talking about how expensive it is to try to find housing along with a job and everything else. So we need to be making it easier for
Yes.
people to be able to get their first home or to live in a decent, safe, clean apartment. Um, and
Yeah, there's a lot of
that would just
stigma.
benefit everybody. And like you said, it would help the median income because when you mentioned that, uh, I guess you were told that for supermarkets to open in, I guess, areas that are considered food deserts, that
Mhm.
they have to raise the median income of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
they want to
maybe
make
we need
money.
to, as we build our community, my theme for this year is uh, we realize nobody's going to save us, and we weren't waiting for that, Michelle, but
Mhm.
we are all we have. But the
Yep.
truth is, we are all we need. Come together like the Avengers and maybe form our own grocery stores. Get a collection of people together and say, you know what, all right, what does it take? You know, if the big grocery chains don't want to be a part of it, there's enough of us in our community that's got contacts, resources, and the finances. We need to open up our own little Save a Lot, or whatever you want to call it, grocery stores in those food deserts. Because my grandfather used to tell me, Michelle, you do what you want to do when you want to do it bad enough.
Mm. Yeah. I
So,
was just gonna say there's a lot of stigma around the word unaffordable or affordable, and that's what I'm trying to fight against. I'm a member of the Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce, and they want to call it attainable housing, and I'm just like, just call it what it is. It's affordable housing. There's a lot of people that have this negative connotation of what it means, but it applies, like you were saying, to so many good, hardworking people, people trying to make it and get by. So I'm a big proponent of having inclusionary zoning. That is something that Marvin Pendarvis and Dion Tedder tried to pass in the House. And I want to reintroduce those kinds of bills because I think it's important to have people that are hardworking people and not to be like siphoned off in a separate area, but to just be mixed in and blended and included in everything else that's going on. Because, like you said, you never know. And there's people right now living in those conditions that you don't know what someone's going through. So I think having that diversity in our neighborhoods will also be an improvement, um, of our community, of our economy, and it'll make it easier for people to be closer to where they work. There's so many moving facets when it comes to creating more affordable housing, and then there's so many ways that we can address it. And I'm really excited to get elected so I can get up there and get it done.
so Michelle, for the viewers, give us the boundaries of District 113 here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. So those are viewing, and if you have any questions, if you're watching, and if you're wondering if you're here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, and if you're wondering, do I live in District 113? They could go to scvotes.gov and I guess type in their zip code and find out if they're in your district.
Yes. So if you live in Shakur, Cherokee, Whipper, Barony, if you live in Park Circle, Old North Charleston, Charleston Farms, Pepper Hill, Latson, but the part of Latson that's right underneath Lincolnville, those and Deer Park, those are the main parts of the district. If you voted for Marvin Pendarvis on November 6, 2024, you live in 113 and you are able to vote for me.
And early voting started on Monday.
Yep.
the general election for the special election is going to be 2 weeks from today.
Well, the special primary
Special
is
primary, I'm sorry. Yes.
No Republicans have filed, so the race will be determined by whoever wins the Democratic primary, and then you'll have to have a general election March 25th, 2025. So early voting is it started yesterday and it goes until the 17th, and early voting can be done at the County Board of Elections office, which is on Corporate Road. So that's where you have to vote. You can go to my website, michelleforsc.com, to get the specific address of early voting, and then just check scvotes.com or .gov to see where your voting location is, your polling location, if you want to vote on the last day, which is January 21st.
And to learn more about your campaign, and for those who like to volunteer, please support this brilliant, talented woman that has the heart. See, she's not doing this for fame, for fortune, for notoriety, because like I said, I've had the honor to know this woman. They are, and this is just my take, they are politicians, no shade to politicians, but then they are people who understand that they are public servants and that use that position of power as a politician to serve the public, because that's your number one priority. You are there, you are entrusted. You are given power by the people to make decisions to improve their lives, that you are a public servant. And since I've known you, you've always had that spirit of wanting to do whatever you could and use the platform and the power and resources you have to make the lives better for other people, which says a lot about you as a person. So if they want to volunteer, learn more about the campaign, or more important, campaigns need money. Support this woman right here. Support this sister. The website, give us that information where they can do all that again.
Go to michelleforsc.com. It's MICHELLEFORSC.com. And you can find out more about how to volunteer, where to donate, and where your voting location is for early voting.
Congratulations on the recent new addition to the family.
Yes.
Yes, she's got that new mommy glow again for third time. That is beautiful, and Happy New Year. And we are going to speak it into existence. My mother always says, my grandmother used to say, Jeannie, name it and claim it. Speak it into existence. So we are speaking victory into existence. So I hope you don't mind, but I operate from that. Words are powerful. They really are. And we, too many times we don't understand that, and we allow things to come out of our mouth that bring negativity, that doesn't speak to our success or advancement. We say negative things about ourselves. Well, I can't, or I want, or nobody will want me. No. Two things: nobody can beat you being the best version of you.
That's right.
And never, always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. And finally, never allow someone else's perception of you, their perception, how they see you. Don't let somebody else's perception of you become your reality. You get to decide. You get to determine your reality. I don't care what people say or think. What they say or think is insignificant to what you believe. That is the most important thing. What do you believe about yourself? Always bet on yourself. Michelle Brandt, running for the vacant seat, South Carolina State Representative, House seat for District 113. So listen, I hope to see you again before the election day, which is 2 weeks from Tuesday, and come back for like a last minute, as they call it, GOTV, get out the vote message. Please, once again, go to the website, michelleforsc.com.
Yes.
Okay. Please support this campaign, support her campaign. You can learn more about her policies and position papers and everything that she plans to do, and support. Campaigns need money. So y'all go dust off the Zelle or Cash App or Venmo, whatever. I'm sure she's got multiple forms where you can support that campaign.
You can donate too, Gino.
Okay, no, I got you, even though you coming right out of Christmas, but no, and I don't look, I don't mind, even if I don't have it. It may not be much, but no, put me on the spot. I put my money where my mouth is, absolutely. So,
Okay.
I look, I don't gamble, but I would bet on you because it's not a bet, it's an investment because I know everything you will do everything in your power to give back to the community. So, so
I
thanks
will.
for putting me on the spot. I like it. This is one time where I agree. Yes, you're right. I'm glad you. But you didn't have to remind me. But it's okay. They say a closed mouth don't get fed.
That's right.
That's right. Michelle Brandt, thank you, my friend. May God continue to bless and have favor on you, your family, and your campaign. So hope we'll see you pretty soon before the election, special election day, which is 2 weeks from today, January 21st, right?
21st. That's right.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and
Yep.
check your voter registration status to see if you live in a district like she said. Go to scvotes.org and you can check your voter registration status, and they'll let you know exactly what you type in your address, and I'm sure they'll let you know exactly what House district,
Yep.
Senate district, and all that you live in. Great.
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank
All
you.
right. She is just beautiful spirit. I'm sure you saw that and felt that come through. But she is brilliant, and she has the heart for this job because we need people with a sense of community, with a sense of compassion and empathy and decency, and a sense of purpose and understanding the assignment. Because we're living in times now to where there are many people from all backgrounds that are going to be hurt because some people just are selfish and greedy and only give a damn about the wealthiest of the wealthy and don't give a damn about the poor and working class people of all backgrounds. That's the con, and I'm going to talk about that more tomorrow. Please understand. Don't get caught up in this whole construct of race and identity, or people's sexual orientation, the misogyny and sexism, hate, fear, bigotry, misogyny, sexism, and bigotry in all of its forms has always, historically, for centuries, has been big business. But only a small handful of people have benefited from it, and they haven't given a damn about all the people that it hurt, no matter what they look like. So don't fall, as Eddie Murphy said in Beverly Hills Cop, the first one, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you and especially you. The Gino Jones Show brought to you by City Vibes Bar and Lounge. 9730 Dorchester Road is the ultimate adult night spot here. Not just a night spot, they have Sunday brunch. They have like a Sunday, I think it's a Sunday brunch, all kind of great music. I want to say jazz, maybe a little bit of gospel. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they have DJs. Sunday, if you love sports, they have we got NFL playoff games. Got a couple college football playoff games this week, NBA basketball, whatever your favorite sporting event, all that. And the food is fabulous. So check out City Vibes Bar and Lounge. And the Crate Group, one of the most incredible nonprofit organizations in America, been doing great work for the community. Shout out to Kendrick Bannister, Mr. Brother Al, the CEO of the Crate Group. Thank you for also being a sponsor of the Gino Jones Show. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Gino Jones Show, CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro. Check him out on Instagram, KelB Cutting Up, KelBecutTinup. Allie Jones is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. Check her and her Lexi Jones collection out. L like Lexi, X like extra, dot, N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi underscore, LX.NCL underscore. And Bruce Gage, also wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. Check him out on Instagram. Also, Mario Uomo. Uomo is spelled with a U. It's an Italian surname. MarioUomo. Check out the Mario Uomo collection and the Flyball collection. Shout out to my baby sister, baby girl. I love you. I'll pass that on to Michelle after the show. My baby sister says she was very impressed and a fan with Michelle. So if she lived here in Charleston in her district, she would definitely have my sister's vote. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. Let's make this episode go viral. So please share, screen grab, rip some of the video, make it go viral. Share, like, screen grab, binge watch all my back episodes. Leave your comments in the comment section and tell everybody, first of all, subscribe. Tell everybody you know. I am approaching 1,000 new subscribers. I'm less than 300 subscribers away. So we want to blow past 1,000, spread the word, because at 1,000 subscribers, I'll start my company. I'll start getting the YouTube bag. I'll start getting checks from YouTube so they can run ads on my TV show. So that would really help my media company grow. So please, please, in my James Brown voice, please, 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 please spread the word like some margarine on a piece of toast. I'm talking about food, right? So thank you for watching, everybody. Once again, I want to thank Michelle Brandt for being on the show. We will see you Wednesday live, 6:30 p.m. If you missed any of this or any episode, just go to the Gino Jones Show YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. You can copy and paste the link in an email or text message. Share. You can tag everybody else's social media page. Screen grab, rip some of the video, chop it up 30, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, make it go viral. Like, binge watch all those back episodes. And once again, leave your comments in the comment section. We'll see you Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I love you. Thank you.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Gino Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.